No, still sleeping in hospital. By the way, Helen Zulu, when I was dead in hospital, she wanted me to speak to the media on what happened. And my girlfriend said, how do you expect a person who's in coma to speak? Right. But it was there on TV. That's what I said, that this woman is a problem. Now, you know yesterday, you won't believe yesterday, I'll show you the video. As I'm doing this thing, yeah, with this young boy from PSN, he showed me a middle finger. No, I pray for him because I'm an Anglican. I don't want to fight him. I pray for him. Hey man, he calls like he's sitting there. He's
getting riled up.
I'm not just open the door there. Hey, mama, get down that side.
Oh, wayovula umnyango wemoto.
Mna kaloku uyawona
uzathini?
Benza ihendrisha lokho ntwana. No.
Not once again.
No. I don't take nonsense. You see, cannot balance with the majority of South Africans. The issue of a dress, for instance. That's where we started to differ. That was the breaking point of me. Because I can't be sitting there as a black person. You tell me that we must empower you as an individual. Tina, we're not oppressed as individuals, we're oppressed as a group. You understand? If you say we empower this gentleman because of merit as an individual, if when you don't have a merit and well, as you focus to that one, I'm telling you that liberation is going to take more than 2,000 years.
Let's fast forward, right? Because I really want us to spend a bit of time on your time in the DA and what led to your suspension, because I've got something I want to show you there, what Helen Zille had to say about you, right? But before we get to that, your time as mayor in Nelson Mandela Bay. You were a mayor for how long?
December to November.
Less than a year, right?
Yeah, like
11 months.
11 months. Yeah.
11 months. Part of the major sort of thing that happens during that time of you as a mayor is that whole thing surrounding the accident and what happened. And I'm not sure if you haven't spoken at all about that publicly at length, right? And there are so many questions, even till this day, around the tender documents that were said to be found, and you know, so many things, and the allegations that there was alcohol involved and stuff like that. Are you able to clearly put this matter on record that this is what happened? There were no tender, or what were tender documents doing in the car of a mayor? You know, because it creates some sort of cloud again around your integrity as a leader and all of that. Are you comfortable to speak into that? Or?
You see. This is what I always call poor journalism. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know how people like, because you have to investigate something and get to it. Do you know that the two people that got to an accident with are SMMEs?
Okay.
Do you know that?
Oh, we don't know. We don't know anything about
that.
But
why people don't go and investigate?
The scene was directed to you, whereby those could have been in some.
They are SMMEs. I mean, they are, even this woman with that car, it's new because she got a tender. I mean, it's not. But now I have to die for that for an SMME. I'm not an SMME, but nobody, because it's me. Instead of them looking back, who are these people? There's not even a person who took those papers and put there. They were in the car with those people because they are SMMEs.
So they weren't in your car, they were in those cars, yeah.
Okay, here's the mayor and the SMMEs. Okay, this is in percentage. Who might likely have a tender document between the two? It's not an SMME.
Granted. So at the time, this whole scene, because we were seeing these papers, it is fabricated to suggest that, you know what, it's more likely the mayor that has these papers and not this particular individual, because we do not even know who this particular individual is. What I'm trying to say is, can you paint a picture of how they got to creating that narrative?
Because kaloku, you still remember Musa said the Khalima story. Gossip, builds a narrative.
Okay.
There must be something wrong said about you for a story to run. Yeah, like those people are SMMEs. Yeah, but I didn't even know myself. I was told by people because now I didn't know like why tender documents are there next to my car. But it was explained to me those guys are SMMEs and all that. This woman is doing tenders and all that. Therefore, I don't know.
So you are not at fault in any way. There's nothing.
Okay. Let's make it that those documents were mine. Those documents are from the Provincial Department of Health. Do you understand? I mean, they are not even in the sphere where I'm working. They are in the provincial sphere of government. Many people created as if it was tenders from Nelson Mandela. I mean, I'm not going to be able to answer that nonsense, because even the people they say like I like drinking, they say no, he likes drinking that drink bottle, a drink bottle. Now I ask,
what drink bottle is?
Now I'm doing, what is a drink bottle? Because I don't drink I drink a white bottle. I understand because people want to create these images if they know you.
I had a conversation recently with around this whole thing about the CEO of MPTA. This was my argument to him and he said something similar around this whole thing that no, it's people, it's I mean, firstly, we are not journalists. No.
When I said
I understand.
When I said it's poor journalism, I was not referring to you.
Yeah.
Because people don't go.
Those who drive the stories.
Like, I mean, this thing was on, what is that? Mnet.
Mnet, yeah.
Show.
Okay, no.
Like
Carte blanche.
Carte blanche. And,
I didn't even know it was on Carte blanche.
And they raised this thing. I said, but you can investigate whether a person is in business.
Yeah.
But these people were there. You understand?
To interject, the point with the conversation I had with him, because I wanted him to sit down and to paint a picture of exactly, how does it feel with there being there are funds that are being withheld from the city surrounding this whole appointment, this whole conversation. And he was saying the same thing to me, that no, I'm not gonna clarify that, I'm not gonna answer that, blah 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 blah. Now, my thinking around that from a leadership perspective, at least, there should be a willingness, and this is a generic statement, there should be some sort of willingness for authentic leaders to always clarify to a certain extent, so that in terms of public perception, there are no people but some people are gullible. They would believe that, no, the former mayor Nqaba Bhanga is corrupt because there were tender documents. They don't have the energy and maybe the critical willingness to go and investigate. So to put a bit of context of why I thought it's necessary, it's because sometimes in terms of public perception, there are gullible people and there are all of this. But I understand you saying...
You see, I like what you say, but I realized, that I must not spend a lot of time explaining myself.
Exactly what you said to me, by the way.
I must do what I do the most. I do the most, and focus on that, because people are not going to stop talking. I'm telling you, my brother. I can't even tell you what somebody very close to me told me 2 weeks or 3 weeks back, and I couldn't believe it. And I said,
it's about you.
You think that people can believe something like this? I mean, people create a lot of stories.
What do they say?
I won't tell you.
I'm just trying. I tried.
I really want to tell you. But it's so bad in a way that... but it's somebody who creates this kind of a story, somebody who does not even know me.
Yeah.
Does he just create? And I ask this person, can you believe this?
But that's how life is, though.
Yeah.
That's how.
Therefore, if you're going to spend time explaining your skeletons, you're going to have a problem.
Okay.
You see? Yeah. Let's leave it there.
There's a video I want us to play. Let's pull that video up, because now I think for me the meat of the matter is what happened around you leaving the DA. And to maybe take it 2 steps forward is what's next for Nqaba Bhanga in terms of what some of your plans are. Have you left politics and all of that? But this is what Helen Ziller had to say. Let's play that video there on your side.
The racism comments aimed at you from Nqaba Bhanga, former Eastern Cape provincial leader. Just please give me your take on what you think happened there.
I have absolutely no idea. He had some idea that I was in the Eastern Cape on Friday night speaking to the ANC about him and how he got his very expensive house. I wasn't anywhere near the Eastern Cape on Friday night. I have not met with any ANC person to discuss Nqaba Bhanga's house, and it was a figment of a very troubled imagination. And then he spoke his mouth verby, as they say in Afrikaans. So I'm very sorry about that, but there are deep-seated problems there that we have to deal with.
And for the moment, suspended or not suspended? What's the latest?
Well, I'm out of this question. Obviously, I've got a conflict of interest, so I can't deal with the disciplinary. The province is dealing with it, and you'll have to ask them.
I appreciate the time. DA's federal chairperson.
So what I don't know what you make of that in terms of I think you already spoke to it a bit here, but in terms of exactly why you left the DA, and
you see, even the story itself, it's based on poor journalism.
Sure.
I speak to this lady of the Herald after she saw this thing on my plate.
On your Facebook.
Yeah, I tell her something. You can hear Helen saying she was here in PE on that day when I wrote this thing. The story has nothing to do with that. I never said Helen Zil was here. Never.
Yeah.
Not in the end. But the Herald journalist wrote that I said that. Ne? Now look. This is what happened. The first thing, my difference with Helen Zil started as long as Trollip. We've never agreed, the two of us, even when she came back, because Helen Zil contested with Trollip. Anything that smells Trollip, she hates it.
Oh.
So you were a casualty of war?
Yeah. They've a war. No, she never, even when I took over as the provincial leader of the day, she was supporting another lady, Veliso, when she was the premier. I defeated her. She never accepted that. Not once. No, 2 times. Now, she never accepted that. And Musi Maimane was a leader of the day. I was very close to Musi. Musi liked my ideas. I say what I like. I'm not like a politician who want to say what you want to hear. Those who want to be close to leaders. Therefore, we got so close. If a person wanted to say something to Musi, they would have to influence me. 2 years before he left, we're so close to that level that he would bounce ideas to me. And I defended him when they were attacking him, because what they've done, you see, I told you about this House of Cards.
Yeah.
What they've done, they've tried to do what this thing it does not finish, because at the end of the day, she says that I'm also a drunkard. They were trying to help me on something. I'm going to come to that. Now, what they've done to Musi, they start to undress Musi. This warm waters where I was fighting with him, start to say Musi does not have a car. It's a car of the DA, does not have a house. Then I explained to them that...
Who's them?
The DA.
The DA.
Like the DA in the meeting, that I know who's doing this, who's trying to...
assassinate his character.
Assassinate his character. I point that person. I don't say, I know. I said, it's you. I said to that man, it's you. I know.
Who was that man?
That tall waters, the one who has said Zuma is a dog, who has put that thing as Zuma is a dog. I told him.
Okay.
Then they sent me to a DC. But I stood by that. I said, I fought with her and then she screamed on me. And I told her, hey, when you were speaking, I didn't speak. I'm going to speak. She keep quiet. Now, we had this beef because I'm not scared of her, both ideologically and on any level of analyzing politics, because I'm not a small boy when it comes to theory. I know my story. Now, I told her, I put her to a place. She knew that I'm not Now, I put that very clear to her. Then she was not happy when I dealt with this boy. She thought that I'm given a free way to say whatever. And then there was a mediation between me and then fine. Now, the main issue that we started fighting about, she never recognized the work we've been doing here in PE when I was a mayor. She didn't like. Because remember, the coalition when I was in power, it never had a problem. From the day I took over until the end, there was no motion of no confidence that was won until the election. I mean, I was able. I'm good in managing relations with people. Now, her fight was that she thought that I had corrupt relationship with officials, including Anel, the one you're talking about. Do you understand? But somebody instilled that to her. But you have to investigate that person. Who's that person? The person, if I'm in Coop, he wants to follow me, I'm in Coop.
Who's that?
If I'm in DA, he wants to follow. But there's a person who likes everything that I do. Wants to be it.
Bana.
You go and do your own investigation. now,
Where is that person now?
Is there in the DA now? Now, this person instills this thing to Helen's mind that this one is involved with this. Now, when I was a mayor, you still remember there was a contract that was done before my tenure under Boye for cleaning drains. Now, when I got into an accident, the SMMEs were closing municipal offices. Now, I was still sleeping in hospital. By the way, Helen Zulu, when I was dead in hospital, she wanted me to speak to the media on what happened. And my girlfriend said, how do you expect a person who's in coma to speak? Right. But it was there on TV. That's what I said, that this woman is a problem. Now, when I came back into office, I had to intervene to this situation because it was before election. Now, I asked Anel Nqaba. Another problem starts from this issue. I asked him to say, what is happening? And then tells me that the Department of Health, Public Health, does not want to pay these SMMEs. That's why they are closing like offices. Then I said, why they are not paid? Then he says, no, the director have left, does not want to support this thing. Okay, take this issue. This thing has nothing to do with the mayor. You understand? Take this report and send it to internal audit. Because the only way I can have something to say about this is if it goes to internal audit. Because the mayor does not deal with transactions and tenders, particularly at that level. Then we see whether is there legitimacy in paying a certain amount or not. Then everybody was happy. People started to close. Then they sent it there. Now, but then it's an election period. Yabo? I'm not going to sign for it myself, but I'm intervening in a crisis. Then they send it to internal audit, but elections like just happened. And then I was not a mayor. Then when these people wanted, remember I was close to winning this thing of being a mayor. Remember, no one person of the DA didn't go.
That one guy.
Do you know that it was deliberate?
Yeah, they paid him.
No.
I think those are the assumptions.
No.
It wasn't paid.
It was Retief Odenda.
That did that?
Yeah, I said he must not go.
Okay.
Because this guy from the coalition, they wanted all service departments, infrastructure, wanted everything. Now I'm going to be the mayor, they just like me only.
So you must be a face.
Yeah. And then I said, no, I can't do this thing at all cost. You understand? Because even some of these people wanted this position not for service, for their own personal interest. Then I said, remember my leader of the day, I said to Retief, instead of Retief resigning in parliament for something that is not going to be sustainable, let's just accept. But I couldn't, because our supporters wanted us to see, they wanted to see us fighting for this. Because if we could have said we're not going to move away, now we had to see. That's why one person didn't come.
Okay.
You understand? It was us not wanting to take over. That's why there was this chaos. Therefore, the other issue then was the main issue that made. Well, I said to Zil, I called her myself. You're going to hear, maybe she's going to write in a book one day. I said, Zil, there's this Anel, and there's this Nqaba. And this Anel, when we were in government, he was a better devil than him. I'm not saying he's clean, but he was a better devil than this Nqaba. Then she thought that I have a relationship, because it was instilled into her, but to me it was a strategy. Do you understand? Now, they started to say I have this 6 million rand. By the way, she sent SMSs to people, including these ones in the cabinet.
That-
Nqaba, in one of these contracts, he might be beneficial. Beneficial for what? When I was just here about last year, 2 months after my suspension. Well, no, this woman sent it. From somebody
Sent to who?
even to DA councillors.
Be careful.
Nqaba in this report might have an interest. And I didn't even know the company. Remember, my chief of staff and my spokesperson was Leander Kruger and Werner Senator. But they will read everything, and now I'll ask them, are you happy with this, and assign it. Then I said, if I'm corrupt, meaning these ones are corrupt. These two white people, it's them who corrupted me. Because it's them who are giving me those things.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Therefore, that's what.
So you never had the time to interrogate any documents that was sent
Because I
before
trusted them. My chief of staff, this chief of staff I had it here, was also my chief of staff in Bishu.
Okay.
Therefore, it's somebody I trusted. There will be things like, meaning serious decision when I have to read that. But if it's a report I've asked for, I'll say he must go and summarize it for me, then make suggestion, then I'll be happy because I trust him. Now, that's what happened when I started to fight. Then Zille, for the first time, started to want to interfere here. You know? Like, we'll fight in the caucus of the DA. Usually, a leader of the DA in all caucuses of municipalities is a member. Now, so we started to fight side by side. She'd stand up and say something. Then I'll stand up. Then she started to give instruction. But when I give an instruction, she changed it. Then we started. Then I spoke with the chairperson of the DA, which is my friend, Andrew Whitfield. And I said, Andrew, I took Andrew through this thing. You know, he knows it. That I said, you guys.
Is he now a leader here?
Yeah.
He's an MP.
The guys that
he's
he's
a
a
Eastern Cape.
He was my chairperson, sort of my secretary.
Oh.
We're friends. I said to Andrew, this woman is putting me under the bus. Everything I do should be secretary. That's why I didn't come back, because I knew I can't work with this woman. That's one of the things. Then, on this one, that thing did not happen that day. I was in the Western Cape. When I was in the Western Cape, I'm not going to mention those people because they might be compromised. Some are mayors, something. I met with them for my own other things. Then, as we're sitting, one of the mayors was being attacked. Somebody was on TV saying I was made to investigate this mayor. That's why I'm resigning, a white woman.
Okay.
He did not do anything. You go for yourself, you see for yourself, newsroom. I said, what happened? I said, no, this thing is happening here in the Western Cape. Now, a day before I wrote that thing, somebody from the Western Cape, a friend of mine, old man, with respect, came to me.
The DA.
No, he was coming for a funeral here in the DA. Come and tell me how he was treated by this woman in a position that he was having, and how files were collected against him, and how he stood firm against this. And not only him and other people who spoke on these issues. Then I said, you know what? This woman, what he was doing to him, that's what he was doing to me.
But
Meaning he's trying to collect information as if you are corrupt,
To fabricate you.
that her actions were not only happening to me, they have happened to other people.
No, we've seen Helen Zella's history and how she's able to successfully
I think it
manipulate
just
her
wants
way
to
through.
finish something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what I do, then I decided that no, man. You know, there are those cowards. There are some people who are cowards, who can't stand for themselves, because some of them, they depend to these things. That people who have a voice must be able to stand up for themselves. To me, the statement ANC collecting was not an issue. I was trying to tell her. I was poking her, by the way, that when I racist. That people don't tell you. Because racism, it's no longer something about slurs that you are kafur now, you know. Don't do it. It's systematic. Person destroys your integrity. Look what she says to me there on the Herald. She says, we try to help him. He's an alcoholic. Like she's 70 something. He's a drunkard. She said he's a drunkard. She's 70 something. And I mean, she never came close to helping me on anything. But listen to that thing, because you want to stigmatize a person because he's raising a political issue. You are distracting the person. You want to paint the person in a particular way. Therefore, the issue of race, of stigmatization, it's not an issue about racial slurs, but the system of social fiber, social activity can be used to break you, like what they did to Musi. You know, understand? They could not say Musi is a drunkard, but they wanted to say Musi womanizer. They wanted to see Musi is living using money of the DA and all that, cars and all bodyguards and so on and so on. So because people do not own means of production, they wanted to stigmatize him like that. They wanted to do that to me. I'm not gay. I told her she's a racist. I repeated it even now last week, that she's a racist. Because she tried to take me to court. I said, come and say it. Take me to court. And she was scared. She gave me until 4 o'clock. And I said, come, let's go to court. Because I wanted to go to court for us to explain and discuss, for me to tell her what racism is all about. Because racism sometimes hides itself with the systems.
To me, it seems like she just had a personal vendetta against you. And a few
No,
other-
she does.
It doesn't. I still can't see where the racism thing is. Is it because I'm not in the DA? I've never been.
No, but the issue, I don't like that thing when you have a difference with a white person, then you say it's racism.
So it's not.
No,
so you're
that
saying
I
she's
can
not a
appreciate.
racist.
I think most people tend to want to play that race card a lot. But I don't think it's.
But there are people, you know, where we differ the most, Helen really have got to a level of not believing that the presence of black leaders will help the DA. You know?
That's important. Wow.
You understand? She got to that level of believing that, and they have challenged her on that narrative.
Now, is that why she
Now
particularly challenges the authority and leadership of black people?
black,
Because
yeah.
every single black leader that has led well and has received some kind of prominence within the DA has, at some point in time, had an issue with Helen Ziller,
Yeah.
and has been ousted out. Black or white, in fact. because
Black
we
or white,
include the
yeah,
likes
correct.
of Olive as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Because that's what is important. But take it back that overstaying in a position, you know, you think you are in an institution. You understand? And you want to define an institution according to your value. When we were opposing them, when they were using the race relations, you know, the South African Institute of Race Relations, you will remember, we can Google, I was in interviews. Because the main thing that we thought about, we were saying the DA must acknowledge the issue of white privilege. You understand? And also the issue of diversity, the race question in South Africa.
Yeah.
And if you listen and you've investigated me, the first thing when I took over, I said, I'm going to make sure that in the Eastern Cape there's a conversation about race. Mdletsana, I invited him in a meeting of the DA to criticize the DA on race. Because the issue of non-racialism cannot be, we can't live in a non-racial society without a society of equal opportunities.
Yeah.
The issue of ownership means of production, the relations to means of production, it's very critical. Wealth issues. Black people do not own anything in South Africa.
But I mean, DA has been very clear. I don't think they're interested in that.
No. But in Musi's leadership, we're starting to have that conversation. That's why Musi was dealt with in
And
particular.
it clearly wrecks the boat.
In particular by the Afrikaner. He was talking that the issue of land must be discussed. It's us who influenced him. We said South Africans want us to discuss race. South Africans want us to discuss land. You understand? Therefore, then many right-wingers were very angry with Musi. You understand? Because he was touching the issues that were not supposed to be touched. And we were saying, and I'm still saying it today, if you go back to the speech I made when I was giving over the office, I said, the DA's got all the systems, a good track record, but the DA does not have an emotional connection with South Africans. You can't lead people that we do not connect with them emotionally. People of South Africa, in particular black people, need a leadership that will cry with them, play with them, celebrate with them, respond when they are faced challenges. And the DA is unable to connect on this issue.
Even when you were there.
With this, just general. The DA in general is thinking, it's posture, I make it very simple. A funeral. You will have a funeral of a DA councillor. It's only black councillors who go to a funeral. Then how do you lead a society that takes a funeral as the most important thing? Meaning you're not connecting to those things. Therefore, an emotional connection in politics is very critical, and the DA problem is still missing that emotional connection. That the majority of South Africans, their own side, they behave in a particular way. That's why even the black middle class believes that the DA is good in government. But the black middle class is like an abused spouse. They really don't like what is happening somewhere, but they're very scared to go to this new relationship. They're even saying, hey, I'm Timbaga.
Brother, the devil I know.
That's what, because the DA does not respond to that emotional connection, that demand to say, make us trust you. Come to our funeral. When we celebrate, we have a party, come to our party. When we need you to respond to our needs, the DA can only respond to one of those issues. When one to respond to the need for services come. That's not enough. South Africans want a living organism, an institution they can touch, they can feel, they can play with.
Here's a final question from my side. You've been in the DA for, I don't know, for so long, 8 years, a decade. Is the DA a racist organization?
No, it's not. I mean, the DA, the party, John Achievement, I explained this thing. I've led many good DA South Africans, black, white, colored, and Indians. Do you understand? And I don't want us to label every person as a racist.
Of course.
That's very wrong. I mean, I met good South Africans. I mean, Karen from Stata, she still loves me. Like, there are many white people who are heartbroken today, and the manner in which the DA have treated me. Like white, who supported me. Now, supported mainly by white throughout. I was loved there. You understand? But there are individuals who still live in this theory.
It's individuals. It's not the systems and the structures.
It's not the systems and the structures.
So racism is not embedded in the DA. It's just individuals.
There are individuals, like not only in the DA, like it's a South African problem.
Sure.
To understand, it's generally a South African problem. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, you won't believe. Yesterday, I'll show you the video. As I'm doing this thing, with this young boy from PSN, he showed me a middle finger. No, I pray for him because I'm an Anglican. I don't want to fight him. I pray for him. Hey man, he calls like he's sitting there. He's
getting riled up.
I'm not just open the door there. Hey, mama, get down that side.
Oh, wayovula umnyango wemoto.
Mna kaloku uyawundaqala.
Uzothini?
Benza ihandlisha lutho ntwana. No.
Not once again.
No. I don't take nonsense. You see, you know when I was a man, the people say he's going to clap me. And then he thinks he's going to clap. Did you not clap now? I'm not going to say no, there must be police and colleges. If you move me now, so move you now. Like, I'm not going to be a process. But no, it's a liter does not be. Now you move me now because a liter, when you win. No. Then I did that thing to the but I come there. And now. But there many white people were passing me there.
Let's saw that.
Yeah, but no. Who were saying forward Palestine? Many. Now I'm going to say these white people are racist. Yeah, but
I hear your
therefore
point.
I don't really agree with. It's like people who are saying, "I'm my daughter CPE." Yeah, no, just stigma. Because
But the issue is that the majority of the people within the Democratic Alliance, and especially those in strategic positions, are those that have shifted the posture of the DA. And like you say, the posture of the DA is one that does not connect with the heart and soul of South Africa. And that means that the posture of the DA does not resonate with the majority of the people. And far often than not, decisions that we have seen in the DA reflect at least some kind, of deliberate, I'd say, attack on the majority of black people.
Like what?
And
decisions?
that's why people say that the DA is racist. At least there is some kind of discrimination. Let's not maybe paint the picture of racism, but we've seen consistent discrimination against ideas, ideologies, and especially leadership styles and patterns of black people. Primarily, I think a classic case that one can never forget is Lindy Umabonakude. I mean, that was the first one to highlight the gravity of that. Patricia de Lille has, on countless occasions, mentioned.
Helen Zille will say to you now, you are two-faced because when you look at other parties, there's an exodus of black leaders in other parties, but you guys, South Africans, don't.
No, but what I'm trying to say is
said.
The exodus happens as a result of numerous individuals. We've seen a number of individuals fight against each other and those being ousted by one and the other. But now when you are seeing a lineage of common black people that are just ousted by a few strategic individuals, then you get to notice that within the ambit of comfort in the DA, there must be some either level of compromise or competition.
Which is why I put that question.
Which is why the question begs.
Is the DA
at least to some degree, we have to see it for not necessarily the party. No. Let's see that there are particular individuals that are occupying strategic positions that cast that light, rightfully so.
The DA is detached from the consciousness of the majority of South Africans in many things. Many black South Africans who understand the struggle for liberation, they will say, Mandela said himself, Palestine is our friend. The DA says, Israel is our friend. Many black South Africans will say, Cuba is our friend. The DA will say, America is our friend. Meaning,
liberalism.
Those who identify with a progressive cause in South Africa, even when I was in the DA, I was very uncomfortable when maybe in Parliament we received the ambassador of Cuba, and then we were told, we must sit down inside. I want to stand up, because we know what we've done to us.
Yes.
Then
decisions like that.
Then I'll give you an example why they hate Cuba the most. It's because in the Battle of Kutokonovan in Angola, the Cubans supported MPLA and many white people died there. Now, many black people also died there. But it hurts them because white people died. I can't celebrate because the Cuban helped us to defend our own pride. Do you understand? Their cultural orientation in terms of what makes the DA the initial foundation and the values,
The moral fiber.
meaning they defend their own selfish interest. I don't understand that there are South African interests, in particular the majority of South Africans, you know. Therefore, there are difficult things that the DA cannot balance with the majority of South Africans. The issue of redress, for instance, that's where we started to differ. That was the breaking point of because I can't be sitting there as a black person. You tell me that we must empower you as an individual. Tina, we're not oppressed as individuals, we're oppressed as a group. You understand? If you say we empower this gentleman because of merit as an individual, if when you don't have a merit and well, as you focus to that one, I'm telling you that liberation is going to take more than 2,000 years.
Oh, it won't come at all.
It won't come. That's what we're saying. That's what Musi was saying, that black people were oppressed as a group. Therefore, the issue of redress is very important. That we can't say we empower an individual. And Helen Zille wanted to instill this thing as a system based on liberalism, that liberalism focuses on capacitating individuals. And I know that thing, but it will never work.